Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Uh, I'm just kind of recapping from the previous weekend that I had. I have a loving aunt, one of my favorite aunts. She lives in the UK, and I was taking her back to the airport a couple days ago, and she was telling me the difference between she was telling me like three different forms of buying a car out in the UK. There's leasing, there's financing, and then there was something else. How she was describing it to me, it was a lease. But I don't think she could decipher between all three, if it's really two. In my opinion, I think it's just the automotive industry in the UK playing games. So I found this video, and it says it's car finance explained, buy versus lease in the UK. Shout out to the channel. First time again, I watch all my videos. I record them live with you guys, so I'm reacting like I've seen this for the first time, and I just want to give you some honest reactions and opinions from what I see. Again, I have about a decade worth in the car business. Come from a very humble beginning. Did not have any financial literacy at all as a kid. I have a good sense now. I'm not a professor. I'm not certified. I'm not none of that. I'm not a guru, but I do have real world experience. I have failed forward, and it's just let's see what this video is about. If you like this kind of videos, if you think these videos give you value, or if you learn something from these videos, I would greatly appreciate a like. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying this. Subscribe. Makes me know that you want me to do more of these stuff, more of these videos, and I would really appreciate a comment. Let me know what you learned, what you took from it, or if I'm just completely wrong. But without further ado, this is only a 5-minute video. Without further ado, let's hop right in it, and let's see what happens.
Hello. Sometimes the world goes mad, and at times like that we all need some very useful car finance tips. This is School of Motoring episode 2, where in this episode we're going to talk about why more and more people are leasing cars today rather than buying them. So here comes 5 reasons why that might be.
So before he gets into it, I think leasing is a great way to drive a vehicle. I think it's one of the smartest ways, to drive an automobile. If you guys have watched my videos, you guys have heard me say a vehicle is a depreciating commodity. It's not an asset in a sense of where it's appreciating or going up in value. The cars depreciate. They depreciate when you drive them off the lot. They depreciate over years. They depreciate on miles. They depreciate on damage. It's a depreciating commodity. So my wife's been leasing for the past 10 years. It's this time around, honestly, that I was honestly thinking, man, I think we should have bought this last car, but we'll lease to own it. And again, I was telling my aunt, I think you're pretty much referring to a lease to own option, like a leasing to own. Complete context. She says that they can drive the car, pay on the car for 3 years, and then at the end of 3 years they can buy it out or they can get a new car. I'm like, it's a lease. And she's like, no. I'm like, it's a lease. And she's like, leasing's different. I'm like, no, it's not. But let's see if this video kind of sheds some light on what goes on in the UK, and we'll go from there.
Number 1 is money. Now, not many people know this, but actually leasing is often the cheapest way to get into a new car, particularly for people who want a new car every 3 or 4 years. So how much money can be saved? Well, actually, quite a lot. Let me explain. When you walk into a showroom as a consumer, you might think you can negotiate a good deal, but you'll never be able to compete with the deals leasing companies get when they buy cars. You see, leasing companies buy from car manufacturers in large volumes.
So what he's referring to is a fleet. So on the left, you have an individual or consumer leasing a car. On the right, the example he's referring to a leasing company. It's a company leasing a bunch of vehicles as a fleet. He's most likely referring to like Hertz or Avis or Enterprise or businesses that they have a bunch of like fleet cars, more or less. I believe that's what this video is referencing. Leasing in a lot of ways can be beneficial. You have the latest and greatest technology. Usually in America, you can only lease new cars, so you're not leasing a pre-owned vehicle or someone else's old problem. They're usually always under warranty, and they usually have maintenance packages built in, so it can benefit you in the short term. In the long term, it puts you in this revolving cycle of always having a payment. So it depends on how your lifestyle is going, how your life's going, and what's more important to you. Is a $300, $400, $500 car payment manageable? Is having the peace of mind that your car is always going to be protected beneficial? Or do you want to pay off the car in 3 to 7 years and have no payment, but yet that car will be out of warranty unless you buy an extended service contract, and it won't have any maintenance packages unless you purchase one. And then as time goes on and technology develops, it will have older technology, older safety features, stuff like that. So you really have to, and then there's the miles. You don't have to worry about your miles if you're buying out your lease. That's another topic, but there's different things that you kind of have to put on a tea table, the pros and the cons, and figure out what's best for you. Let's get back to the video.
Sometimes paying for hundreds of cars at once, which means they're able to get a cheaper price on every car. Buying in bulk brings discounts, and that discount is passed on to you as a customer of the leasing company. Leasing.com recently commissioned a study which found that drivers save on average £50 a month on like-for-like vehicles across.
He's right in a sense. It usually is less expensive to get into a lease, depending on the car and the leasing program that you're taking advantage of.
9 popular models, the overall saving was £3,000 compared to PCP, and there's been even bigger savings than that. The reason for this is APR. On a PCP, the amount of APR that's bundled into your
What's APR? Write down in the comments if you know.
Your monthly payment is a significant amount, and sometimes I even work out
It's annual percentage rate, just so if you didn't know.
How much APR I've paid over the course of several cars for say 10 or 12 years. And then I don't sleep. Next is control. When you're leasing, you have...
And this is British, UK. It's not how much APR I paid over the last 10, 12 years. It's how much interest that you've paid. But he understands what he's trying to say.
Have more choices for how long you want to keep the car for. You can even get deals for 12 or 18 months, which is particularly useful if you don't want to commit. New cars, more often, sign me up.
So another thing to interrupt, So there isn't interest when you're leasing. There isn't interest on the loan, but there is something called I believe it's the MMR. It's the I might be wrong on the MMR, but it's the money factor. There is interest on the payment, but that's not spoken about because people are like, what's my interest rate? Technically, there is no interest rate on the loan when you're leasing, but there is interest on the payment. And it does offer you more control in a sense of shorter commitment, more options for you when your lease is over. You can buy it out, you can get another car, you can turn it in, or you can sell it. So it does give you more options. Also, the benefits of it is another couple benefits is, unlike financing, your name is attached to the loan, but also is the bank's. You don't own your car until it's paid off and you receive the title. Leasing, and what I'm trying to say is, you're still liable. You have a lot more liabilities when you're financing a vehicle. God forbid you get into an accident, someone could come after you and your assets because your name is attached to the loan, to the title, but it's not your car yet. But yet you can be penalized or punished for an accident. When financing, if you get into an accident, the value of that car would drop, and that's something that you're stuck with. And dirty Carfax, negative equity. If you have a high interest rate or you put a lot of miles on the car, and in 3-4 years you want to trade up, it's a lot harder because of the negative equity. Leasing gives you the ability in every 3 years to get your newer vehicle. With leasing, your name is not attached to the title. So it benefits you because if you get into an accident, they can't come after your assets because you're not attached to the car. You get into a car accident, you're not stuck with the depreciation of the vehicle because technically it's not yours. Technically, when you're financing, it's still not yours, but yet your name is attached to the title, so they can come after you. With leasing, they cannot. There are pros and cons, 100%.
Oh, it's also worth noting the amount of money that you pay up front on a lease is much smaller than you pay on a PCP or HP. That's because
What's the PCP HP? Personal or HP? I don't know what that is, but that's not entirely true. Again, he's in the UK. I'm in America. There are leasing programs where you can roll, I think what he's referring to, your upfront costs, like your tax, title, tag, and fee. Maybe on the small print on like leasing ads, it does require money down. You can roll that into your payment, but you won't get that payment that attracted you on the commercial. Financing, you can do the same thing. You can roll your tax, title, tag, and fee, and if you don't want to put any money down, you can roll it into the loan itself. But you're now financing with an interest rate, the taxes, title, tag, and fee that you really should have paid for up front. Banks want 10 to 20% of the MSRP of the vehicle down. That usually covers those things, and then you're just financing the cost of the car. You're not financing extra stuff, and that's really where people get in trouble, and that's really where people create this negative inequity position, because already when you drive off the lot, the car's going to depreciate. But when you're financing all the extra stuff, you're creating that gap. You're creating a bridge between the value of the car and what you owe. The value of the car and what you owe. With leasing, 3 years you're done. You can walk away from it. Doesn't matter how the market's turned, positive or negative. If it's negative, here's your car. I'm done. If it's positive, you could sell the car and possibly receive a check back. Again, you're gonna hear me say a lot. There's a lot of pros and cons that you really had to figure out your lifestyle to see which one's better for you.
Because it's not really a deposit, it's advance rental, or a series of the monthly payments bundled to the front end. So you can choose also what that is. So you can pay 6 months up front, 3, 9 months, or even 1 month up front.
Firmly disagree if he's referring to leasing. Do not pay your upfront costs. Or, excuse me. Do not pay months in advance on a lease. Do not. One pay leases, do not do it. The reason being, for example, what I've seen, let's say someone decides to pay all 3 years of payments at once. Say it's $15,000. They go through, they sign up for the car, give them $15,000. Now they think, they don't have a payment for 3 years. Great. You drive off the lot and someone T-bones you. The car is totaled. In the Southeast, at least here in Florida, a gap is built into your lease. That's a pro. But if your car is totaled, that $15,000 evaporated. You don't get that $15,000 back. You really don't benefit from paying upfront on your lease. That's not going towards the principal. If it was financing, yes, there are benefits to putting a hefty lump sum down. And if you're financing, make sure that your money is going towards the principal, not paying interest. But no, I disagree with him on this one. Do not pay 6 months in 6 payments in advance, 9 payments in advance when you're leasing. Do not do that. He couldn't sleep before. You will not sleep if you realize you drove up a lot. 30 minutes later, your car got totaled. Oh, I guess I'll go lease this car again. You're gonna need $15,000 again to get a similar deal or payment from what you had 30 minutes ago. Do not do that.
Which is great because you can have a new car more often, pay less money up front. Good, excellent. Number 3 is stress, because leasing is a lot less faff. Car shopping can be stressful and very confusing. Not the case so much with leasing. You're always under warranty. You don't have to worry about what's going on in the future. You haven't got to worry about what to do at the end of the term. And leasing also comes to you. If you're a busy person, choose the address that suits you and they bring you a new car.
So again, this is the UK, so things are a little bit different here. I mean, yes, you can, in certain situations, you can have the car delivered to your house. You don't have to lease for that. You can finance. But it seems like the philosophy, the mentality in the UK is a lot different.